Want to build a successful speaking career? Here's the hard truth. Many aspiring speakers dream of commanding the stage, delivering powerful talks, and making an impact. But few truly understand what it takes to succeed. In this episode, I sit down with Stoyan Yankov, an accomplished speaker, best-selling author, and host of the Productivity Mastery podcast to uncover the real truth to building a thriving speaking career. From overcoming stage fear to crafting a compelling talk, Stoyan shares his key principles that separate great speakers from the rest. And it's just not about talent. We discuss the power of experience and relentless practice, why preparation is everything and what most speakers overlook, and how to position yourself for high value speaking opportunities, the mindset shift that turns nervousness into confidence, and why giving value first is the secret to long term success. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Companies that put people first perform at their best.
Writer and productivity and performance coach Stoyan Yankov'u davet ediyoruz.
What if you stop seeing yourself as this one thing? What if you start seeing yourself as a package of all your strengths, passions, networks, backgrounds? There's nobody like you. It doesn't matter if you're an accountant or if you're leading a large organization. It counts. Your purpose counts.
We kind of forget to prioritize what I would argue is the most important factor for business results: caring for the people.
All right. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear the podcast. I'm here with an absolute legend, someone who I first met at Web Summit, Stoyan Yankov. Am I saying your name correctly?
I think at 86% accuracy, yes.
Why don't you tell us how to pronounce your name perfectly with
Actually, originally
100%?
I'm Bulgarian, so it's gonna be
Yeah,
Stoyan Yankov. Stoyan Yankov.
Stoyan Yankov. Okay.
That's it, man. That was 97. We're getting close.
All right, I'm getting closer. Stoyan, you are a public speaker, a best-selling author. You have a podcast. So, like when I met you, I was so drawn to you immediately. And I want to use this as an opportunity to introduce some of my followers to the work that you're doing. And because this is very applicable to anyone who is looking to enter into the public speaking space. The information, the content that you deliver is just so relevant there. So why don't we start with the productivity mastery podcast that you started? What is it?
So I started Productivity Mastery, this
Yeah.
platform, this podcast, when the COVID pandemic hit, and I was a
Mm.
locked extrovert at home. All my speaking gigs and everything was on hold. Like everybody can remember these
Yep.
times, right? So what do we
Yeah.
do? And I started having these conversations with some of my speaker fellow friends, and I'm like, why not make these conversations public? Because I'm learning so much. Maybe people can listen and learn something from it. So that's how the podcast started.
Yeah.
And now it's been, what is it? We started 2020. Now it's 2025. We had more than 205, 210 episodes with some exceptional people like Matthew Shavira, like the founder of Reebok, the former president of Starbucks, Kai
Mm.
Kawasaki, um, and also many really cool people that are not so famous,
Mhm.
but they necessarily they have something good to share.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing journey, man. Meeting so many incredible people. Um, it's I mean, I can talk about the benefits of having a podcast, what it does to your skill set, to your mindset, but also to your brand and to your ability to be found as a
Mhm.
consultant, as a speaker.
Mhm. Well, let's lean into the naming, productivity mastery, right? in your interviews with so many accomplished individuals, is there any thorough line that you could say that you've identified that these like really accomplished individuals all embody, practice?
Mhm. I feel like
That,
people are always looking for the magic pill, this
hmm.
one principle, this one strategy. And when you start speaking to all these people, you kind of see the same sort of tendencies, but this the hard truth. It takes crazy a lot of commitment and hard work. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm inspired being here with you and also having you on the podcast. And like the level of commitment, the level of execution is just, you know, many of those people. Let me give you a few names. Even the founder of Reebok took them
Yeah.
21 years to finally scale in the American market and at some point became number one in the world. Reebok.
You're
Um,
kidding me. So those 20 years prior, they had no traction or very little, and he was just keeping this dream alive.
I mean, they did have some traction in the UK, and they were
Yeah.
doing well after 10 years or so, but they felt six times to make it to the American market. And let me tell you,
Understood.
his brother were working 80-hour weeks, traveling like crazy, like so many challenges. And these are all the stories, man. Like um, right before Christmas, I interviewed a very humble Chinese lady, Molly He.
Hmm.
She She's the CEO of a company in biosciences, elemental biosciences, and they raised 650 million, and they're in DNA sequencing. She's so smart. She's such a humble leader. She told me it's the first time right now, and she started the company in 2017. It's the first time right now I can finally have a little bit of time for myself. I put all the
Wow.
systems in place, all the stuff. It's just hard work. The former president of Starbucks, the guy who brought Starbucks internationally, he was number two in Starbucks. He told me, I hate this word work-life balance. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as work-life balance. I prefer a different word, work-life integration. There were times, he
Mm.
said, that I have to be on the road for, you know, 80 hours weeks, changing the country every day. You get tired and exhausted, but you're driven by your purpose. And I
Yes.
think talking about entrepreneurship, we often look at those stories of the handful of founders that make it big, and we think it's that easy. It's really really hard. But let me tell you a few
Yeah.
practical things, just very quickly, a few practical things that I can see that work for me, that work for my
Yeah.
clients, for all these amazing leaders I get the chance to interview. You gotta have discipline to organize your time, man. I know I'm not gonna give you this rocket science magic pill, but 20 minutes in your day. You gotta allocate 20 minutes in your day and keep the discipline to do it. And this 20 minutes is your time to look at the whole picture, right?
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
assuming when I give you this 20 minutes that you already have a very clear idea. What are your goals? What are your priorities? What do you want to achieve this quarter? What do you want to say no to, right? Having this in mind, 20 minutes in your calendar. In this 20 minutes, you reflect on your day. All right, let me have a look at my goals, my priorities. What did I do
Hmm.
today? Did I achieve the things that I set myself to achieve? Okay, cool. If I didn't achieve something, what was the reason? All right, I was too overambitious. I Something came up. I wasn't too disciplined. Okay, good. Look at it tomorrow. What are the top objectives in front of me? Again, let's have a look at my meetings. Let's have a look at my, uh, and then it's like, okay, can I push it further? Can I be more focused? And I love to work in blocks, Matthew, and I can
Mm.
see people that are extremely productive do the same, working in blocks, right? So if you're a speaker and you wanna reach out, maybe cold calling, so you can get potential coffee meetings with potential customers, event producer,
Yeah.
bureaus. I don't know. Instead of saying, "Oh, let me write this guy," and then in the afternoon, no, okay. 3 hours, I'll be completely focused. I'm gonna send these 10 emails. This is my block. I switch off my notifications. I'm fully focused on achieving the objective. So it's not tomorrow I'll be outreaching. You don't, what does that mean? You can spend 14 hours outreaching
That's
and
true.
just procrastinating, man, as opposed to I have these 2 hours. I need to send these 10 emails with all the materials and personalize them. That's it. All right. 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That's everything I'm doing, man. No
I
distractions.
love it.
My house should be burning. Otherwise, I'm not moving, man.
No, that is fantastic advice, Stoyan. And many goals for a lot of individuals is public speaking, something that you have a lot of experience in. What would you say? What is some advice that you would say? What makes someone a successful public speaker?
One word, experience.
Mm.
Experience and reflection. That's what I would say. So my journey started back in 2016. And at the time, I've spent maybe 10, 15 years being a follower, watching all these incredible speakers, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, these old school guys, right? Just
Yeah.
and then my background was movie production, as you probably know. That's before I became a consultant in productivity and speaker, I was a movie producer. So um, I was dreaming to put together this speech called "Life is like a movie," which was a um, all these lessons I I I learned from movie production. How can I put together? And that's probably something I wanna emphasize on. If you are an upcoming speaker, if you're a aspiring speaker, try to think about what are the things that come natural to me. What is my background? What are my passions? What is my experience? What's my background? What's something that's interesting? Because if I'm only the productivity guy, there are millions of productivity people, right? So you want to be a little bit more interesting. Initially,
Yeah.
I tried to be like Tony Robbins and Les Brown and copy their styles, and it doesn't work, man. Um,
Yeah.
you have
Because
to
you're
be
not
yourself.
them.
I'm
They
not
do
them,
it
man.
best.
I cannot be the
Being
best Tony
yourself.
Robbins.
Yeah.
So you're not them. You gotta. There's so many different styles and so many different speakers, and I didn't know that. I thought if you want to be cool, you gotta be like these guys. But no, you have to find what are the things that make you unique, and come up with some kind of a interesting topic. Okay, I'm really good in movie production. All right, life is like a movie. Is that something that people like? Start calling people. Yeah, that's such a cool topic, man. Okay, there's
Yeah.
interest in that. Okay, there's sexy,
Yeah.
right? It's like you want a sexy title or something
Yeah.
that people might like, and then you gotta go out there and you gotta reach out, man. You gotta reach out. You gotta. I mean, I put on. I did my first speech because a coaching client of mine challenged me to do the speech. I was afraid to speak in front of people. I wanted to be a speaker, but I was afraid. So he challenged
Really?
me and he gave me 30 days and he said, Stoyan, you gotta do your speech because I achieved so many things thanks to you, but you're not working on your goals. So he gave me the biggest gift and I was afraid. I'm a guy who in high school I couldn't go in front of people, man. I would freak out and just shake. And you've seen me on stage, and it's not the case now. I have no nervousness at all. But
Zero.
but this guy he gave me the biggest gift, man. Like now I had to deliver. That was my event. I put up an event, 60 people sign up. I had a waiting list. Life is like a movie. Everybody comes. I'm nervous, man. I was sweating. I'm like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
was practicing in front of the mirror. Uh, Everybody comes, and I've already seen so much. It wasn't just a speech. I did some interactive things. Hey, get into pairs and talk about this thing. Close your eyes and let me lead you through this meditation. At the end of the day, I survived. And I'm like, oh man, that's. And then there's this lady from China that signed up for my event. randomly. She
Yeah.
doesn't know me. And she came and she's like, I just wanted to share that this was the first time in my life that somebody told me that I can be a leader. And I'm 25 and I never made a decision for myself because in my country, in my culture, my parents decide for me. Even to come to this event, my parents tell me what I should do. I call them, I tell me, and when I get married, my husband will decide for me. And now I
Hmm.
came in for the first time in my life, somebody tells me I can be a leader and I can show up for myself, I can decide. And and I wanted to share that when I close my eyes to see my future, to see the movie of my life, I saw myself as a storyteller.
Hmm.
I want to empower other women in China to show up for themselves, to be their own leaders. Thank you. And she hugs me, man, and she doesn't let go. She just stays with me for and I and I'm staying and I'm like, dude, I mean,
It's
many mixed
incredible.
feelings, right?
It's
And I'm
incredible.
like, 18 months I've been postponing and not going out because I was afraid. Why? Because I was thinking about myself. What do people think about me? How would I perform? Nobody cares about you, man. It's all about what you can give. What you can give. All the nervousness goes away when you focus on doing your best to be there for the event producer, to,
Hmm.
to be there for the conference, to be there for the audience.
Mm.
That's what I see many speakers don't do these days. You're not just a speaker. You're not there to speak and leave. You're there to be the person that has the back of the event producer, right? So before a speech, you get booked to speak. Um, Post about it on ask the event producer, what do you guys need? Well, we want to promote the event. Okay, cool. Promote the event, make a little video, run the extra mile, you know, uh, during the event. What can you do? Be the cool person. You're the face of the conference. If something is not
Hmm.
going well, and most events, there's so much stuff that people have to take care of, the
Sure.
event producers. Things go wrong. You gotta keep people on the positive, man. You're there, you talk to people. Oh my God, this was delayed. Just say something that say, that's normal. Just
Just
you
roll
guys
with
can
it.
network more. Let's go.
Yeah.
After your speech, you do your speech. Don't do it about yourself. Do it about them. Generate value, right? But after your speech, go and talk to people. Some people will come, they want to talk to you. Connect them. Just be the giver, man. Just be the giver. And the more you do that, on top of being extremely prepared, we can talk about preparation. Preparation is king.
For those who are asked to speak at a conference.
Mm, that's right.
That's what you're saying, being prepared.
That's
I
right.
mean, it goes without saying, I think, but I feel like you're hinting at something even deeper meaning than this. How do you mean?
Many people I've seen and colleague speakers, they would go to a conference, they put together little slides, they just show up at the conference, they do their thing. Maybe they had a speech they did before, so they just, they show up to the new conference and they deliver. That's not enough. You have to put your soul and heart into preparation. So my process doesn't have to be the same as the process of anybody else, but what I do is I wanna I wanna speak to the event producers, have 2, 3 calls, understand their audience, understand their objectives. If I have a chance to talk to some people who are at the event, from my network, or I want to talk to the audience if I can. It's not always possible, but like, hey, I've seen
Mm.
you've been to Leap, this conference. Okay, what happened there? What is the vibe like? What are the people there? What do you want to learn? If that was the topic, what would you like to learn? Let me test a few ideas. Does that work? And then I start constructing my speech. But
Mm.
it's not just, oh, let me construct my speech, it's done. Man, I'll do 10, 15, 20, 30, especially if I have a new speech. I need to do it over and over and over again, especially with, you speak to a new region. You want to include something about the region, some joke, something, so
Precisely.
so then it's like, I'll call you, I'll call other people, I'll call my team, and I'm like, hey guys, you gotta listen to me. I'm gonna do my speech right now. Don't interrupt me, But then at the end, I want you to tell me, what did you like? What can we improve? And then you do it again and again and again. And at some point, all the connections match, man. Right? Because when you put the speech, if you're a professional speaker, you can pull it off, but the connections in between stories and examples, you need to practice them. And then you
Mhm.
can improvise. When you've practiced to a really high level, then you can improvise.
So, Ian, you're incredibly inspiring. I mean, everything that you just said is like so fundamental to what makes someone successful and who is aspiring to be a public speaker. I mean, I don't think anyone can argue with anything that you just said. So, yeah, it's wonderful. I
I
will
appreciate
say,
you, man.
yeah, for before we close, for anyone who's on their own entrepreneur journey, maybe just starting, they're just into it. What advice do you give to those?
I think you need to set your expectations right. It takes crazy a lot of time, usually, for you
Mhm.
to make it. So arm yourself with a lot of patience, and you have to double down and triple down on your execution. You have to be extremely focused. So I would say take some time and identify what are the one, two, three activities that will bring you the most results. And results usually, especially early on, means paying customers,
Mhm.
revenue, right? What are the revenue generating activities? And initially you might not know. If you're a new speaker, how do I get paid speaking gigs? I don't,
Yeah.
maybe you don't know. Maybe the first 3 to 6 months you gotta say, well, I haven't been out there. I need to book myself to speak. People need to see me, right? So what are the one, two, three activities that will lead you to these bigger opportunities? And you have to be extremely good in saying no to everything else. That's what I would say. Um, Arm yourself with patience. Reach out. Have conversations with the right people. Another one, help the right people.
Mm.
People want to get before they give. How about you go and start helping the people that can open doors for you? I get this advice several years ago. I was in my film production journey. I just did my first speech, which I mentioned, and I met a lady called Janet Atwood, the creator of the Passion Test, professional speaker for many years. She was the lady kind of behind the Secret, the movie, like many cool things. So I see her on stage. She's rocking the stage, and I went to her after her speech and asked her, Janet, hi, great presentation. I wonder, I'm a film producer who wants to be a professional speaker. What would be your advice? And then she told a little bit, and she said, well, if you want to be if you want to go places, you have to start helping the people that are already there. In her case, that were these guys from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield,
Mm.
Victor Hansen. She started organizing the events, doing
Mm.
marketing for them. What are your skills that you can kind of help those people so you're around those people, right? So that's what she started doing. And she started seeing how they do things, how they book events, how they're preparing, right? Um, and then one day, Jack, his flight was canceled, and he called Janet and he said, hey, Janet, didn't you have this passion test? Go cover up for me. 5,000 people, right? Like event. But he trusts her. Janet goes on
Mhm.
stage, she does her thing, and then you start growing from there. By the way, that's what I did. After this conversation, I asked Janet, what can I help you with? Right?
Yeah.
So I started
Yeah.
doing videos for Janet. I started doing videos for Janet in the backstage so I can be around her. She signed me up for this incredible program, introduced me to her coaches. I learned a lot. Then you keep hustling. But it's all about giving, man. You put on the giving hat.
I love it, Soyan. Thank you so much. If people want to find out more about you, do some more investigative work into who you are, your company history, where is the best place to find you?
I mean, as you know, I'm quite active on LinkedIn. Probably LinkedIn would be the best place to find me. Stoyan Yankov on LinkedIn. Drop me a DM. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Was stuck with you. If you have any ideas how we can collaborate. Of course, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. Have a webpage. You might find me speaking at some event somewhere because I'm traveling a lot doing work. So yeah, get in touch if you're interested. If you're into podcasts like this one, my podcast is called Productivity Mastery. Matthew was a guest on the podcast. So yeah, man, I'm always curious to meet people. If I can be of help anyhow, please let me know.
All right. Thank you so much, Soyan.
Pleasure, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you for having me.